Brian Robb, J. King, and Sam Packard present Steel Bottle, Steel Bottle, Boston Celtics, Steel Bottle, Steel Bottle. Oh yeah! Steel Bottle, Steel Bottle, Boston Celtics, Steel Bottle, Steel Bottle. Banner 19. Jalen Brown, D. White, Crazy Joe. Steel Bottle, Steel Bottle. When Tatum coming back. Steel Bottle. Still bottle, still bottle, still bottle. Boston Celtics, still bottle, still bottle. Oh yeah!
Come on, don't get the next generation. Guy wants to win. Don't have no time.
Let's go, you motherfucking Celtics. Let's go, baby. Let's go, you motherfucking Celtics. Let's go.
Let's go, baby! Welcome back to the Best Celtics podcast here on Al Gore's Internet. This is Still Potable. Today we are on the CLNS Broadcast Network. That means we are brought to you by Prize Picks. Use promo code CLNS to get $50 after you use your first $5 deposit. We are Still Potable. We're here for you on CLNS or anywhere you get podcasts for free twice a week. So subscribe today. But if you want that more Celtics content, we're also here for you on the Patreon every single day, Monday through Friday. You can become a kid, a god, or a legend. And if you want to hear basketball analysis from Jay King, Celtics beat reporter for The Athletic, he's been covering the team for over 10 years. Or if you want analysis from Brian B. Robb from MassLive.com, he's also been covering the team for more than 10 years. And me, I'm Sam Jan Packard, professional sports fan. I've been talking nonsense about this Boston Celtics team since at least 2014. Together, we have 30 years of Celtics podcasting experience, Celtics analysis and thoughts, and you can get all of that if you go to the Patreon, patreon.com/stillpotable. Daily Celtics content from the three of us. Like I said, the Best Celtics podcast. And fellas, I thought we all kind of anticipated this might have been a down year for the Celtics, but now in the last 2 weeks, they have rose from 10th place in the Eastern Conference. Now they sit in 3rd place. They're on a 5-game winning streak. They have taken down the Pistons, the Cavs, the Knicks, and the Toronto Raptors, all teams who are having great years in the East this year. Jay, I'll start with you. You're up in Toronto right now, live from the depths of the Scotiabank Arena. Just want to hear your impressions on the Celtics winning this game in Toronto. They really dominated this 5 games in 7 nights, winning all 5 of those games. But you were there in person. What's your impression of this team?
They lost 1 of the 5 games in 7 nights.
They're on a 5-game win streak.
This was a new game. This was not part of the 5 games in 7 night stretch.
Well,
so that's okay though. It's okay. The other day, I said it was a 4 games in 5 night stretch when I asked Peyton Pritchard a question, and he was like, "You mean 5 and 7, bro?" And yeah, I did. So, but it was just another impressive win.
From Cavs game to this game is a full week of 7 nights. I guess that's technically 8 nights because it includes both Sundays. I retract my statement. 5 games in 8 nights.
Shut up, Packard. Go ahead, Jay.
5 wins now in 8 nights. This was an impressive one. Like, they dominated the first half, and then the Raptors got going. And I thought Celtics kind of, let go of control. They love being the more energetic team, the harder playing team. And it was the Raptors for most of the second half, or at least the first 15 minutes of the second half, who were that team. And Celtics didn't stop them in transition, let them step into a bunch of fast break threes. Raptors took a lead in the 4th quarter. I thought just for the Celtics to respond the way they did, they lose the lead and immediately come back, regain the lead, and then just close out the game with a solid stretch of play. That showed their maturity. Like, we saw them early this season cough up a bunch of winnable games, and this time, wasn't necessarily crunch time, because crunch time technically the last 5 minutes, but with 9 minutes, the game was on the line. And Derek White hit a really tough 3 from the corner. He hit a bunch of other shots to help carry them home. Jaylen Brown continued to be great, and they just kind of were able to recenter themselves after losing it. And I thought that was really impressive, because a lot of the time In the NBA, you let go of the rope, you can't grab it again. But this time, they were able to do it, and they just keep growing up. Like they've won in a lot of different ways, and tonight was a great first half, and then one heck of a response after the Raptors took over for a while.
And to that point, Jay, I give Joe a lot of credit for that, because Joe saw what was going on in that second half and was like, we need to get the grown-ups back in there. Starters, you have the fourth quarter. This is your game. And during this streak, they've gotten a ton from the bench at the spots, but this is a game where a lot of those guys just did not have it in the third quarter. And it was the end of a brutal stretch for the schedule. But guess what? They played 3 games in the next 12 days. So this is a game where you can like ride your horses and get to the finish line and not have to worry about it a few days later. So Joe did that. Derek White, Jaylen Brown up to the task, and now we're talking about a 5-game winning streak instead of potentially a blown 23-point lead if the bench was out there for another 6 minutes.
Jaylen Brown's been phenomenal over these recent winning streak, and obviously him scoring over 30 points a game is a huge part of this recent Celtics success. But I think like the return of Derek White and his 3-point shooting has just been huge for this Celtics offense. And it's to get that on top of the Jaylen Brown 30 points a game, I think is a major reason why this offense is looking so good, is his willingness. He's been, I think he's been shooting threes like pretty aggressively all year, but he just has continued to do so. And now that he's knocking them down, that weird 3 in the corner that I can't even really describe it in words, but what happened, it was like the least rhythm jump shot I've ever seen. But it was so important for the Celtics in that game. But like, I think Derek White kind of just getting back to form and being the second best scorer and second most reliable scorer on this team, B-Rob, is a huge reason why the offense feels like it's more consistent.
And that's, to me, that's just like the most sustainable part of this run. Like right now, offensively, it's like they haven't had like Derek White is just getting back to this point. He hasn't been on a crazy run for the first month and a half of the season. Same with Peyton Pritchard. Like they're now getting back to what we thought they would be this year, which is a damn good borderline all-star player these last 2 weeks here, Jay. So it's like the fact that those guys are rounding into form now while they've been this good offensively already makes it feel like this is like a top 5 offense here. You feel like it could be very much here to stay.
Yeah, and there are parts of this that probably aren't sustainable. Like Jaylen Brown's mid-range shooting has just been lights out all season.
He's a 50% mid-range jump shooter now. Long twos galore.
Like, no, but Dirk Nowitzki doesn't shoot like
he's
he
basically
has from
Kevin
the mid-range
Durant
this season. Yeah, and so that will probably fall off to some extent. I think what's most promising about it is there's a lot that is sustainable, and that's taking care of the ball. That's JJ Redick brought up this stat, and it's not publicly available, but he said that the Celtics have the best crash rate for offensive rebounds. Like they're sending the most guys to the glass in the league, and they're not number 1 in offensive rebound rate, but their ability to offensive rebound consistently and turn those into extra chances and extra buckets has been huge. And so that's the part that is sustainable. And they've even been able to do that after moving away from Luka Garza, which obviously, like, you put Luka Garza on the bench, the one thing you miss the most is his offensive rebounding. They've been able to find that from other sources, and they found these small lineups that for the most part have been great, had some tough stretches tonight, but it just feels like a lot of this is sustainable. A lot of what they found is real. And that goes from Jordan Walsh being what Austin Reeves said, like, could be one of the best defensive players in the league for a long time. And Joe Mazzulla was asked about that tonight. And Joe is like, it's hard to please Joe Mazzulla. He
hates hyping his guys up. Yeah.
and he was like, he's on that path. And when Joe said that, I was kind of like, I didn't expect him to agree with that one and do it so forcefully as he did tonight. But clearly Walsh has shown him something during this stretch. And now, they just have to find ways to build on that. And Jaylen Brown brought it up tonight. he said, and sort of brought it up the other night after the win against the Lakers, when he like didn't want to praise Jordan Walsh too much because he said he didn't want to boost his head up too big. And tonight he kind of said a similar thing, not just about Walsh, but about the whole team, where he's like, for a young team, having success can be really hard. And when you hear everyone saying you're great, and now people are starting to notice what the Celtics have done and put them, as one of the teams to that could make noise in the Eastern Conference. Now it's like a different challenge than it was, because at first it was like, you're so hungry, you want to earn a spot. Now you've got the spot, you're getting the attention, you're getting all the praise, and now it's like, can you still be consistent when you already have that type of stuff? And that's their next step, that's their next challenge. But so far, basically since Jordan Walsh got into the starting lineup, they've been just a great basketball team. And I didn't expect this so early, but they've been playing some great basketball for about a month now.
And
Yeah,
Jay, I am loath to do this. For anyone who's been listening to us from this version of the podcast, Anything is Potable, Rain and Jays, I am reluctant to give Jay King credit for anything because he will heap it on himself.
I'm going to get credit.
I think from the moment Jordan Walsh was a member of the Celtics, you have said this guy has the potential to be a very good defender, just based on like athleticism and his length alone. And he is proving you correctly every single night out there. I actually thought he had his worst game in a while, just from too many fouling, and he fouled out of this game. Besides that, let's do a quick detour. When he fouled out.
Hold on, before we move on, you just credited me.
Yeah, did you not say that from the start of Jordan Walsh's career, that he's going to be a phenomenal
defender? I said it before
defender?
the start of his career. I wrote about how good a defender he was going to be when the Celtics were looking in the draft. Before they drafted him, I was on the Jordan Walsh train. The King family actually was huge Jordan Walsh stands. We watched him in college, and it wasn't just that he was long and athletic. It was like, wow, he can really move his feet. He really stays in front of guys. Even when guys get by him, he chases them and pursues them and doesn't stop. Like, he had the makeup of a very good defender already before he even got to the Celtics. And obviously it's taken him a long time to emerge and earn minutes and, strengthen up and just, take hold of that role for the Celtics. But he's sort of, his ceiling was something like this, where he's able to guard the best player every night, and that's what he's doing no matter who it is. Tonight was like a weird game for him because it felt like they didn't know who to sick him on.
That's a good point. I'm looking at his stats here in the last 12 games since he's entered the starting five. 62% shooting, 45% from three, 9 points a game, and 5.5 rebounds per game, which is like, I think, the defense is one thing, and that the fact he got there this quickly is one part of it, but like, just to be such a massive offensive rebounder and defensive rebounder, to be honest, in this stretch is like pretty much like propels this group. And even in this game, like in the third quarter, when they were struggling a bit there, it's like, you need to get Jordan Walsh back in this game right now, like on top of White and Brown, because he's like quickly just propelled himself to be that important with his versatility defensively, Jay, and just what the roles he fills to like sustain what they're doing on both ends of the floor, it feels like.
Yeah, and he's found his offensive role. Like, early on, it didn't feel like he did, but now he's knocking down shots. He's made, I believe it's 22 of his last 27 shots over the last 4 games.
He was on a run with 19 in a row of shots made? Like, talk about unsustainable stuff.
Yeah, that's probably not sustainable. But like, the way he's getting looks, the way he's contributing is sustainable. I thought tonight he had one drive where he just forced up like a really tough contested layup. And I was like, that's the first time I've seen Jordan Walsh really force something all season. Yeah. Like he's been totally within the confines of his role and doing what they ask him to do. He's been used as a screener, a roller. Tonight, like we said, it wasn't his best game. I thought he had some tough foul luck there, but
he was great in the first half though, too. Like 3 steals out of the
he
gate.
had 3 steals in the first 3 minutes. He was part of the reason they got off to such a great start. So it's been a Jordan Walsh run.
I think the major question now, and we'll get to it after or we hear from our friends at Prize Picks, but the major question now is how does this team deal with success? But before we talk about that, I do want to tell you about Prize Picks because they are sponsoring today's show. Prize Picks is the best. It's the best time of year for sports, and that means the best time of year for Prize Picks. You got bowl games, at football playoffs, basketball, cups. It's all happening at once. And so if you're out here making decisions about the holidays, what gifts to buy, what to eat, what game to watch, there's another place where it feels good to be right. That place is Prize Picks. If your fantasy season is over, Prize Picks is a place where you can go. You don't need to do any sort of drafts, and there's all sorts of different offers on Prize Picks. You can make picks on fantasy score, free throws made, field goal attempts, turnovers. You could probably do fouls. And so you have a couple players that really stack up their free throws. If you want to, pick more or less on them, Prize Picks is there for you. Prize Picks also now has early payouts. So if your lineup gets off to a hot start, you may have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. On Prize Picks, it's up to you how you play. You have flexibility. You can choose flex play where you get paid even if one of your picks misses. Or if you want to go for the biggest payouts, go for the power play. No matter how you play, Prize Picks is a great way to put your takes to the test. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it is good to be right. Now, I think this is the most interesting thing about this team because I was on my high horse to start the season, like embrace the lower expectations of this team. And I feel like
you're a big embrace the lower expectations.
You got to embrace whatever circumstances you are now. But now they're a successful team. They're third place in the Eastern Conference. And I think you mentioned it a little bit with Jalen's quote about it's hard for young teams to deal with success. I think B-Rob, like what is the thing that would be either most concerning or what are you looking at as this team? One, I guess, what are the expectations of this team now? And then how do you think they're going to react? Assuming I'm the irrational Celtics fan on this podcast, I'm thinking they're going to win the East. So, like, how are they going to deal with yahoos like me putting expectations like that on them?
I mean, they have beaten the other.
They've beaten every team in the East.
Of the East. Yeah, they've beaten the other 5 teams in the top 6 of the East right now. And here's what I'll say about the, getting too big of a head. How do they handle this type of success right now? If there's one coach that will not let these guys get too high, it's Joe Mazzulla. Like, this is the situation where
he was built to strip down a young player getting a little too big for his britches.
100%.
And apparently Josh Minot loves it. Josh Minot loves being screamed at by Joe Mazzulla.
And these guys are eating this shit up. So it's a win-win, it sounds like. So, yeah, and I don't know, Jordan Walsh might be the one guy that's off the list. He's just become almost like too important right away where it's not like you're not going to yank Jordan Walsh out of the starting 5 at this point, I think. I've been wrong like 3 times about this year, so I don't want to go too far. But still up and down the line, like with all the young wings, like you're gonna have to earn your opportunity, regardless of whether this team has won 5 in a row or not. So like that's there, and then the guys like Jalen, Derek, Peyton Pritchard, like they're not going to get a big head about this. They know this is great. We're like winning games again. Like we've done this for 3 years now. So I think the fact that Joe is there, like is built to kind of be this kind of influence regardless it should be a good sign in terms of making sure these guys aren't trying to punch above their weight and do things on the floor that they're not capable of while they're having these hot stretches of games.
This is going to be a wild comparison, but it kind of reminds me of the 2017-18 Celtics when Gordon Hayward went down just before the season and everybody was kind of just wrote them off. And then they lost their first 2 games, and then all of a sudden they looked unbeatable. They won 16 in a row after that. And the difference, obviously, is that team had young Jason Tatum and young Jaylen Brown, and those were the guys emerging into big roles. Whereas this team has role players that are stepping up, and it's Jordan Walsh, Josh Minott, Ugo Gonzalez, Baylor Shireman. Those are the guys who have taken advantage of the opportunities. And I don't necessarily see them becoming stars like Tatum or Brown. So that's the difference. But as far as like just a surprising wave of success and just a team that you just blink and all of a sudden you're like, wait, back then it was like they're 16-2. This team is 16-2 after Hayward went down. And now it's like, wait, they're 15-9. Like they're 10-2 in their last 12. They're second in the Eastern Conference in net rating. And all this without Jason Tatum. But we saw with that team, like when Hayward came back, it was all sorts of new challenges that were presented. And this is a long way away. But when Tatum comes back, it's going to be guys are going to have to accept less. It's going to have to take on less. And even before that, like I think teams will start to approach the Celtics second unit and their small ball a little differently. They'll try to find ways to expose that. There will be more challenges in that. Jordan Walsh, like some of his hot shooting will wear off. What does he do when that happens? So there are a lot of challenges still to come, but right now they're really just taking advantage. All these young guys are just taking advantage of their time. And the Celtics depth, like I thought the depth would be an issue for this team, and instead it's probably their greatest strength, or at least one of their greatest strength is just they can throw a lot of guys out there that can make an impact in different ways. And like even Ugo Gonzalez, what did he play, like 2 minutes tonight? And
Wrong 2 minutes though. Made a 3.
He came in, knocked down a 3, had a dunk, and that was just like he barely played. But all these guys can come in and impact the game a little bit in however long they're out there.
I think that's a good point about the depth, because it's not like, with the caveat which B-Rob mentioned, that like Walsh feels different now because he's kind of like solidified himself as a starter, but because they have so many guys, there's not an area where any of these guys can really get like that comfortable in their role, because they're each averaging like 20 minutes a game. And so, and it's not consistent necessarily who's going to get the kind of bench minutes every single night. And so it's like, I mean, yes, if Josh Minott continues to shoot 45% from 3, like maybe he'll get a big head, but like there's been many games where he's just he's been played 8 minutes. And so there is this still kind of internal competition where if you are not playing the right way, if you're not playing up to Joe Mazzulla's expectations, you are going to get yanked, and there's going to be another guy who's just as hungry as you. It could be Ugo Gonzalez, it could be Baylor Shireman. Sam Hauser's got like this, third, fourth biggest contract on the team, and he still kind of gets the shorter end of the stick from time to time. So you have to prove it every single night. I think the question, B-Rob, is if I'm the irrational one and have wild expectations for the East, like what is the reasonable expectations for this team? Let's just take the Tatum factor out of this. Like what should Celtics fans expect from this team? Like how much of this is an aberration? And like, or how much of this is sustainable? Are they a true contender in the East?
I mean, I think this team, as is, without Tatum, is capable of winning a round or two in the Eastern Conference, given what the competition is. Like, if they play up to what we've seen in the last, month, there's nothing in the Eastern Conference. I mean, it's been 25 games, and guys have been in and out of the lineup. But still, even when teams are fully whole, whether it's the Knicks or like the Magic and stuff like that, like this is a team that is capable of putting up a fight against them. And when Jaylen Brown would be potentially the best player in entering any of those series, like, or is capable of being the best player in any of those series. So you have that, and depth means less in the playoffs, but there's been enough up and down the line here where, like, I don't know, or maybe not. Maybe you look at the
Not
Pacers
anymore.
last year now, right? Is it
Pacers
like
kind of showed
right,
us that
maybe it's a new
depth
game?
is
It's a new
important.
ball game now. Like, I
It
don't know.
might be a new ball game. It
Is
might
it?
be a new ball game. Look at what the Pacers did.
Right.
Like, look, and the Thunder, they have the MVP, so they're a little different conversation. But the Pacers didn't have the MVP. They beat teams with speed. They beat teams with energy. They beat teams with having a bunch of dudes who will play harder than you and pick you up full court and get up and down the court and just be tough to play against every single second of a game. That's sort of how the Celtics are designed right now. And they're playing a lot of guys. They're though they rode the starters tonight, like they're playing those guys much fewer minutes than they have in the past. Like I just think they in the East, I wouldn't favor the Celtics in a series against the Pistons. I wouldn't favor them in a series against the Knicks. But would they have a 0% chance of knocking off one of those teams? No, I don't think so. And Tatum coming back, if he does, will throw all sorts of new variables out there. What does he look like? How much can he handle? Is he actually, like, because he's coming back and because he's not fully sharp, does he actually in some ways hurt them? And I think it's possible that when he does come back, if he does come back, that they have to adjust to him, and it takes them a while to just.
What does he expect his role to be too when he comes back? And like, is that commensurate with like his ability and athleticism? Like we saw the 2018-19 Celtics when it was like Hayward and Kyrie came back. There's like, oh, this is sticky. Terry Rozier and Mook really think they should shoot the ball.
and that, take it back to that 2017-18 team. That team almost rode energy all the way to the finals. Like, I think they finished 18th in offensive rating that year. It was very much like an unpolished, unrefined team. Tatum was great, but was still learning things. Jalen was a long way from where he is now, but was still super impactful. Terry Rozier was capable of brilliance, but like wasn't gonna make like great decisions on every possession. but like they almost went to the finals, and I think back to that year as like maybe sort of a blueprint for this year, where what they lack in refinement and what they lack in polish, maybe they can make up for with youthful exuberance and energy. As JS Town 2061 points out in the comment section, the East that year was weak. The East this year is weak too.
Do you guys take the Cavs that year or any team in the East this year? Like, who would you take?
LeBron in his prime was tough to beat.
Right? I would still take LeBron. I still think great. I think
LeBron in his prime was just tough to beat. And the Celtics, they probably should have beaten that team that year.
Yeah.
I mean, Terry Rozier makes like, was it that year we just missed 10 threes?
Yeah,
he
missed
10.
Yeah, it was 0-10.
But really, they lost because they weren't ready to go possession for possession with somebody who was as great as LeBron.
Is that where LeBron
he just thought the game? He thought the
game
game at a level that they just could not reach, and he was good enough to basically beat them by himself with a bad Cleveland team. I've probably extended this metaphor comparison to that team way too long, but in my head it works. In my head,
I'm buying in on it now, Jay. You got me all in on it now.
In my head, it works.
See what happens when I give you credit and you start talking crazy ideas. B-Rob, does this change the approach of the front office in terms of like trying to add to this team this year? Because like, oh, the East is wide open. I mean, I've seen Adam Ronan Gorlip Savitsky 335 says add Zubac and JT, and this team's a real contender. I feel like we've seen a lot of Zubac rumors recently. I feel like going into the season, there was no chance they were going to take on any salary. Like, I think if they were going to make any moves, it was just trying to dump Simons to get under the tax. But do you think the kind of success changes the consideration of what this team might be if they're looking to be buyers at this year's trade deadline?
Absolutely. Like, and they don't have to make that decision now. They can watch this team for another month and a half, and see where the chips are, see where the health of everyone is at that point, and make an informed decision about it. But regardless, like you have Simons and you have a lot of salary there, and so
And you have Sam Hauser.
and
who
you have
could
Sam
be built.
Hauser, right? And the sidebar on Hauser's like I think a sneaky part. Like Hauser's starting to find his groove again too. Like he, for a lot of the last few weeks, it was the younger wings, but he was big in this game tonight. I think he was against the Lakers. Like you're seeing more of the same Hauser that we saw the last couple of years now, and obviously that's very good for this offense sustainability. But regardless, like you waiting till the offseason to find a backup, to find another center, like when the East is potentially right there for the taking, makes you think long and hard about, like, okay, can we find that guy now? Like, what are we waiting around for? If we're going to use a first round pick or two in the offseason, why won't we just do it right now? If the deal is there, the deal may not be there, but regardless, I feel like, especially with Simons has been nice. He has his games, but like he's not integral to what this team is doing right now. It's like a nice bonus to have, but regardless, that's a useful salary chip to have to kind of see what's out there, to see if you can find something that helps you now and obviously helps you in the future when Tatum's back, and looking healthier next year, I'd imagine.
Can we just take a break right now and just give credit to Joe Mazzulla for the
Coach
way
of the year, Joe
Celtics started
Mazzulla?
this season?
Yeah.
They are second in offensive rating. Second. The only team better than them has Nikola Jokic. That's insane. They are fifth in net rating. Fifth without Jason Tatum. He very quickly found a formula that worked. Let's take it back to training camp. Training camp, he realizes what this team needs to be. He realizes they need to rely on energy. They need to get better at forcing turnovers. They need to be much better at offensive rebounding. They need to take advantage of their youth instead of letting other teams take advantage of it. And the way that he changed them, evolved them, just gave them an edge right away. So then he deals with this whole Jordan Walsh, Josh Minott thing in a way that sort of unlocks both of the guys. Jordan Walsh wasn't playing right away. Like, I don't know if Joe foresaw him becoming so important to this team, but then he plays well against the Rockets. He steps in and has a huge crunch time against the Magic, and they reward him with a starting role. He takes off. Josh Minott looked like a big part of things. They've been hard on him. They've made him earn his minutes. They've yanked him in and out, and he just keeps playing better and better. And now, Luka Garza minutes were tough. They didn't wait too long to stop using that and to go to Minott at center and to go to Jordan Walsh at center and to find a new identity that they haven't really used consistently in the past, even when they did have Jason Tatum, who could have been their small ball center in a lot of ways. So I just think Joe has pressed a lot of the right buttons so far. He has really empowered the young players to play well, while also making sure that they realize the importance of their mistakes and that they're not going to just be handed anything. And I think the balance there has been impressive. I think getting this team this early to play the way it has, it's wildly impressive. Like this, I figured the Celtics would be pretty good, but the brand of basketball they've played over the last month or so since Jordan Walsh stepped into the starting lineup has just been eye-opening. They've been fantastic during that stretch.
I mean, entering this season, that was like all eyes were on Joe. Like, what? This is Joe. Like, this is your canvas. Like, the last 2 or 3 years, the team was kind of handed to you, make it work with all that talent, and now he's putting even more of a stamp on this team. And yeah, just like it's been, beyond anyone's expectations to this point through 25 games here. So up and down the line, the buy-in is there. Obviously, the offensive production is insane. And now winning games like today, like when you're making the like strategic moves like that of like going back to the starters when you need to go, like he has the pulse on this team incredibly well, it feels like right now, and that's why they're third place in the East.
And he got all the vets to buy into it.
Yeah.
Like to buy into changing the style as much as they did, that takes a lot. And to tell Jaylen Brown and Derek White and Peyton Pritchard, look, you've played one way for the past several years. It's gotten you to the finals twice. You've won a championship with it. Now we're going to do a lot of things different. And to get them on board, to get them leading the way they have, I just think Mazzulla has done a heck of a job fitting these pieces together and leading things from the top. He's done a just great coaching job so far.
And I've been pretty skeptical of like not having an established role or substitution patterns, but it feels like he is pressing all the right buttons and having all of these guys ready. So maybe I was wrong to question the NBA championship level coach. Maybe hand up, that's on me. But it's just like it feels like every night he's making the right choice of like what rotations to play, what like when to unleash Ugo, when to unleash Minot. Like even tonight, I was like when Jordan Walsh fouled out, I was like, oh, I should have gone with Minot down the stretch instead of Hauser. I don't think it changed the game at all. And so like the fans are going to question the rotation choices no matter what. But I think Joe, given the results, and probably he's more caring about the process, he feels like he's just like gotten all of these guys, players 1 through 9 or 1 through 10 on this roster ready to play at any moment. And so hats off to him. How many games do they have to win for him to be coach of the year? Is it like 50 games or is it like finish top 4 in the Eastern Conference? Because the award is basically coach who gets his team to perform above expectations. And there was most NBA reporters picked the Celtics to finish like 8th in the East this year.
Can we just calm down with the coach of the year talk?
No.
After 20 something games.
That's like an absolutely rational point to check in on the awards.
I've seen people shout out to Bobby Manning with MVP discussion already. I've seen people with like standings watch daily. It's 20 something games in. There's going to be a ton of stuff that happens over the rest of the season. We can all just calm down and appreciate what's going on, appreciate the development without jumping way too far ahead of ourselves.
Jay King,
the beer talk is premature.
Live in the now. Be present. Let's all take a deep collective breath and just appreciate the winning that's going on in this moment.
Decisions have to be made, Jay.
Yeah, someone's
coach of the year front.
The coach of the year front. They have to make those ballots. Those straw polls are Bontemps is sending out those straw polls soon.
Is he expanded?
You can't talk about the MVP before the straw poll comes out. You can't.
All right, let's go now to a member of the Still Potable community. And if you want to be like our guest, Doc, you can join us at patreon.com/stillpotable for the opportunity to join us on these podcasts. Doc, making his Still Potable debut. How you doing, Doc?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for hopping on.
I was nervous about this. Had to write down my questions and everything, or my points. But
you got a mic. You're ready.
You're ready to go.
I'm trying. Okay, so I've got some junk, but I wanted to zag a little bit and talk about the Maine Celtics. I'm not sure if anyone's watching the game, but Amari Williams got his first triple-double today with 10 points, 13 rebounds, and 11 assists. I just think people need to be talking about the Maine Celtics more.
Double line.
Yeah.
I think
I need him back on the team.
He's the one Maine Celtic right now that could matter to this team at some point, right? Like they are not playing a second big man. It goes from Nimi to forwards, and they'll throw Tillman in there sometimes. I'm sure we haven't seen the end of Luka Garza. He'll play at times, but Amari Williams, just because of his combination of size and passing and ability to move his feet, could matter to the Celtics this season. We'll see how everything goes, obviously, but he is, to me, the one Maine Celtic who could end up making a difference for the Celtics at some point this season.
I love it. Also, I would just like to talk about the broadcast for Maine Celtics. The graphics are wildly unpredictable. The typos and what they're talking about. I will be at the Capital City Go-Go games this week, but they keep saying that it's the College Park Skyhawks instead of the Capital City Go-Go. What's with that? What's going on with the production up there?
It's the G League for everyone, I guess. I don't know. I used to do TV production, and like the way you would get in on and get the new role is that you get a tryout for a lesser game. So I got to operate the score bug once for a Boston University college basketball game, and I was making all sorts of mistakes. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's someone doing their first time.
What were your mistakes on the score bug? Like, how do you
not having the score correctly?
Forgetting to put it up.
Not having correct timeouts, classic stuff.
I guess that is something you don't really think about. How much goes into having that be right all the time?
The score bug's one of the hardest jobs in the truck. Like, you have to be on it the entire game. There's 10 people in the truck for a broadcast. Like, there's a lot of different moving parts, and it's just like constant dialogue the entire game. And like,
people yell at you when you fucked up the score bug?
Absolutely, as they should have. That was my one job, was to convey accurate information there. What really needs to be yelled at is the person on NBC Sports Boston keeps going to the terrible camera angle, but I've ranted about that for too long.
And then this is honorable mention. I just have two real quick rapid fire. Number one, Jam, I would like to say that when you were planning at the parade to meet in Boston Common, could not find you. That map was terrible. I was like, there's no way. There's no way. Why would you point like that? So just like to say I was there, didn't meet everyone, but I was there at the parade.
Hand up, Doc. That's on
chaos. The parade was chaos.
Getting
that fountain in Boston Common there were people like jumping into the fountain, hanging off the fountain. I lost cell phone service because there were so many people around. It was chaos. So I can understand why Packard got lost and was a moron. Also, he's just a moron in general. Guy can't even figure out the score bug.
Also, I left the TD Garden. I may have ingested some beverages. I may have celebrated with the rest of the people out in Boston.
I love it. And this is the last one I have. Shout out Jay King. We met at Summer League, but I think I scared you to death because I worked for them, and then I was like, I just kept yelling "So potable" and running through the crowd. But I was like, I don't think that went off well. But just want to say thanks so much, guys. It's been great for the show, and thanks so much for having me.
My man, thanks so much for the support. We appreciate you, man.
I'm gonna hit you with the officials. The junk.
Is that a super?
Yeah.
Is that a Super Nintendo game behind you?
Yeah, it's a prop, so that way you can see what it is, but it's like giant size to get behind. Yeah.
That's awesome. I need a giant Super Nintendo game for my background as well.
You already have a better background than all of us, so
yeah.
Way to go.
Appreciate you, Doc.
Thanks, man.
Wow, great debut. What a great debut from Doc.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Doc really crushed it.
Doc, if you're gonna join the show, be like Doc, and if you want to join the show, go to patreon.com/stillpotable. You can join us here. You can have questions. You can have junk. You can talk about really whatever you want here.
He was the Jordan Walsh of guests. He came in just ready for his moment.
He was prepared.
He had the mic. He had the backdrop. He had stories. The man had it all.
He called out Packard for something that happened 2 years ago. So that's good.
Hey, we're a pro accountability podcast here. If I'm going to give credit to Jay King for his correct takes, you also have to criticize me for trying to do a pod meetup and then just abandoning that because I also lost cell phone service. And so I appreciate Doc for the accountability. Any other stuff you guys want to talk about? Any other nuggets from up there in Toronto, Jay? Any other things that you think is important? Did you guys see Jason Tatum on the Morris Twins podcast? Any comments about that? Any last things before we wrap up this podcast?
We might have to do a podcast about that.
The Morris Twins saying that they would give each other the scouting reports against them before playing against each other was the most Morris brother thing of all time.
No wonder Wizards Celtics went 7 games. Everyone knew what was going on.
Those guys were the most loyal to each other ever. And Jason Tatum recalling that the Celtics coaches once asked Marcus for a to help with the scouting report on his brother, and he forcefully declined to give any information.
It was
It's just so amazing.
I wanted to know Brad's reaction to that. Like I was like, Tatum was telling the story, and Mook was just like, "No, fuck no." Like I really wish I knew what Brad said.
Not gonna happen, Brad. I've got to get to the bottom of that. That is my mission for this year, is to find out Brad's reaction to the Marcus Morris declining. That's just such an incredible story. You think you can get a little inside information, and Marcus Morris is like, nope, I care far more about my brother than I ever will about this goddamn basketball team.
You can imagine some guys will be like, yeah, I know his every move. He likes to do this, but no, not the Morris twins. And it was kind of wild for when wasn't the whole I guess Mook wasn't on that team when he stepped in for Marcus.
No, he was in the front row watching.
Or was he? The grand theory is that Markieff Morris rolled his ankle and Mook stepped in because Markieff was still pretty good after that.
You also feel bad for Mook in that pocket. He was like, I thought I was going to be in Boston. I thought he thought I was going to be here for a while, and that did not happen. But that you could still see he was here for 2 years, but those years were like, I don't know, like may stick out more than any other part of his career at this point. It feels like in terms of like memorable teams.
Is that the peak of Mook Morris? Is that when the Mook was the mookiest?
I mean, he was good.
The shimmy ISO pull will never be forgotten.
Yeah. All right, folks. The Celtics are now in third place in the Eastern Conference. They don't play again till Thursday, so we're going to hopefully have some guests lined up for this week. Maybe get some national perspective. People will start paying attention to the Celtics. But we appreciate you guys tuning in here. If you like the pod, definitely subscribe on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple. Give us that 5-star review. And then if you want more podcasts from us, go to patreon.com/stillpotable. We'll give a podcast for you every single day of the week from two of the best Celtics beat reporters who are covering the team, going to all these games in the locker room, even interviewing the players, the coaches. And then I'm also here. So definitely sign up, patreon.com/stillpotable. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll be back later this week with more podcasts. This is... Oh, I fucked up the sign out. I'm sorry. I don't know what to do. Well, I thought you guys were going to comment on it, but no, then you're just leaving me out to dry again.
I quite frankly don't know what you're doing.
Still Potable, the Boston Celtics, still Potable.